Hey, family. Welcome back to another episode of the Saturday Sit Down. Once again, it is your girl, me and Lovey and Miss Edwina here for part 2 of Love and Relationships. But before we get into it, how are you ladies?
Good.
Great. I'm hungry.
I feel you. I feel you. I thought that was somebody checking in for the show, like you late. But okay, well, this week I wanted to talk about just a couple things and we'll get out of here. Number one, do titles matter?
What
Boyfriend,
kind of title?
girlfriend, my man.
Well, it would to me. It does to me.
Okay.
I also agree.
And I'm just asking because I don't know, like a lot of people that I talk to now are like, oh, that's my babe, but we're not, we don't have a title. I don't want a title on me. I don't understand the issue with it because to me that kind of does what a title's supposed to define you, not define you, but define what you are.
What
And
you have.
Mhm.
What you
yeah,
have with one another. Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know. I was hoping to have somebody on here who says, oh, I don't want a title because I don't understand. But a lot of people really feel like titles don't matter and they're not necessary, like they weigh you down or like they're a problem, and I didn't understand that. But all right, well, we all on one chord for that. All right, next. So how about head of household?
Define that. You mean does the title head of household matter?
Yes, both ways. So does the title head of household matter, and who does it apply to?
Well, I would hope it would apply to him.
And what would make him head of household?
I'm good. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jemima. Hey, Courtney. I almost said something. So head of household is someone who's just what it is. Someone who is taking care of the house. The same title doesn't apply as we were just talking about that with our grandparents
Yeah.
and stuff. It doesn't have the same definition or the same weight as it used to hold like 50 years ago. Because I would think that in today's by today's definition is probably equal.
Mm.
But if you're my husband, yeah, I'm gonna say that you're the man of the house. You're the head of the house.
Okay. Now, see, that's two different things to me, though. Now, man of the house is different than head of household. You know what I mean? For me, I'd be more than happy to explain. To me, if it's an us thing, I don't think that there should be a head of household. Like you were saying, in today's, I guess, standards or whatever, it's equal.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you try and define who head of household is, then that means that there's a head and there's a tail. Like it's levels to it rather than it being equal. Now, a man should be the man of the house. And I don't think head of household, number one, is only defined anywhere. If you look up head of household, it's really only defined in terms of tax filing.
Oh.
Yes. Just for tax purposes, like you file as head of household,
Mm-hmm.
and that means that you have dependents and things like that. But and generally, if you ever think about when people have conflicts around head of household, it's two ways. One, the man is saying, hey, I'm supposed to be the head of the household because the woman is not listening to him. Or two, the woman is telling the man, you're supposed to be the head of the household because he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. What he's supposed to do as a man.
Okay, you had a comment?
I just kind of see things different because of the way I was brought up and, you know, the way I seen my grandparents do it. But I know this day and time, women of today in this society, they want to be both. They want to be the man and the woman in the relationship. Um, I don't see it that way. I still would consider my significant other the head of the household. Um, for instance, when I was in my long-term relationship, my daughter's father, he got the last word. If my daughter came to me and said, Mom, I want to go out, and if her father said she couldn't go, that was just it. That was just the way I was brought up. So that's just the way I would continue to do things. Like, when I get married, my husband would be the head of the household. We would have that equal say in the decisions. But if it was something that he felt, I would let that man lead. That would be the head of the household, being a leader, being that royal man, that kingman. That's how I perceive things. I would allow my significant other to be the head of the household and make those decisions, and I will follow his lead. So that's just me. Everybody probably wouldn't agree with that, but that's just the way I was reared up, of seeing the way things growing up, and I would continue those traditions. What I seen growing up, letting that man be a leader.
And what makes the man a leader?
What makes him a leader?
Mm-hmm.
What makes a man a leader is I shouldn't have to tell him anything. He should know off top what a man is supposed to do. He should know, take out the garbage. He should know when the bills come, let's sit down and figure the things out together. That's being a leader. You're coming to your queen, your empress, and you sitting down and being a whole, not just a half, and him just doing everything. He will come to me and say, you know what, babe, let's sit down, let's work these things out. That's what I've seen my grandparents do. My grandfather would get up, my big daddy would get off of work, give my grandmother the paycheck, she'd go deposit it. They would sit down with each other at the table. We was not allowed in the living room. Once they sat down and they was handling business, kids, y'all know where y'all need to go. Outside or go in the den. That's why I built the den. They would sit at the table together as a unit. I can't see my hands, as a unit, and sit down and calculate everything together. That's being a leader. You're coming to your significant other and being that team, that unit. He's being a leader, and he's not just, oh, well, I'm going to just make all these decisions. Him and my grandmother would sit down equally and work out things together. That's being a leader. You're going to your wife, your significant other, your fiance, or whatever, and handling things together. That's being a leader.
Okay. Hi, Miss Courtney Jones. Oh, she.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Once you take yourself off
Can you
mute,
hear me?
yes.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So he want to turn his phone off because
Okay.
a delay.
Sorry. We can't be on here long. We gotta do something in about 5 minutes.
Okay. But time out, excuse me, that face is beat though. I see them lashes, girl. Uh-oh, she can't hear you. You about to get booted. Okay, guess that was quick.
Herself.
All right. She pressed the wrong button. I know how it is. I did that to myself when I was trying to figure out how to use it from the phone. But so back to okay. Oh, here we go. All right.
I'm
Hi,
gonna
Miss
behave.
Martha.
I'm
Look.
gonna behave. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello.
Well, all right, it's a party for all.
Oh my God.
Right.
Y'all crazy.
Okay. Oh well, Miss Cruzy, you're up first.
Okay. So Courtney said something in the comments concerning, yeah, there it is. She said there are different roles. She was talking about roles that keep the house Lord, I don't have my glasses on. My 50-year-old eyes can't see it.
It's in
House on both. Read it for me because I can't see it
Okay.
small.
I was waiting
Okay.
for you to struggle. Go ahead, say you blind. It's all right, I got it. So there are different roles that keep the house. So both are head of household, but have different roles that they handle to make the house run smoothly.
And that was I think that's perfect in today's and how we do things today. I know back, like I just said, I'm 50 years old. My parents are older, and they were married for 52 years, I think 52, 53 years. And they do things according to what to their time. But now we're doing things according to our time. Now, I am from the church. So in the church, we believe in submission and roles in households and all of that. So to this day, I ain't been with my husband in 10 years. But to this day, he is the head of our house because that's the biblical principle. However, I will say this: the reform, the new, I don't want to say reform me, the new liberated me, who's still a Christian, yet I'm more spiritual than traditional or religious, and I know that there are all types of relationships, including same-sex relationships. I will say that I'm gonna use this example. This is gonna be a bad example, but I'm gonna use this example. You have a partnership where the three of y'all own a business. Three of you own a business, and y'all are partners, equal partners, and that's a relationship. You in a relationship, you're equal partners, but you have to make a decision. Okay. And then there's conflicting in what this final decision is, but we're going towards a common goal because it's going to affect this household. Somebody have to be the decision breaker. In the partnership, you have a vote, and that third person become the decision breaker. In a household, there's only two people, so you have to decide when you get together and y'all decide that y'all going to become one. Who's going to be the decision maker? And that is the head of the household. And that don't necessarily have to be the man. Now, in the church world, it's the man. In the world where we come from with our parents and what we see in our grandparents, my grandparents was married 67 years before my grandmother passed on one side, and it was about 40 something years before my grandfather passed on the other side. So I come from these traditional marriages where the husband is the head of the household. But now we live in a time now, like I said, where we have same-sex marriages in different situations. So now you have to decide, even if it's man and woman, you still have to decide who's going to be the breaker here. If we both going towards the same goal and we disagree on something, who's going to be the person that we're going to kind of lean to? Now, I know what Erin's going to say is it may not be the same person every time. I can see it all in her face, Lord. But I think that and I know we can disagree because that's what makes it beautiful. But I think that if it's not the same person every time, that's the tiebreaker. Because y'all in a relationship, most of the time you're gonna agree. Most of the time you're gonna agree. But if you don't, then you headed for conflict. I don't always agree with what my estranged husband, that is the head of this household, still say. But I still go with what he says because that's the way we set things up. And just because we ain't together don't means that he's still not the head of our household, because we had 3 kids, which means we had to find a way to get along and stay along and get along, because we're going to forever be connected by these kids, even though they grown. So that's my stance on it. Courtney, what you said, you're so young but so wise, child. Because that was spot on and perfectly said.
Okay, Courtney, you can unmute yourself whenever you're not making noise.
I'm sorry.
You got a car full of people?
No.
It's date night.
Y'all gotta leave me alone. Okay, so yeah, I feel that same way. I feel like, to me, it's like you always have, it's two people in a relationship, and I feel like you have two different roles to make that relationship work. Just like you have two different roles to make the household work. Like most people say, oh, well, if I'm paying all the bills, then I'm head of the household. Okay, you're financially head of the household, but who's doing the dishes and who's doing the laundry and who's taking the kids to X, Y, and Z? And did you want to go to this? And who's doing, everything they need to do on their end. So I feel like it takes both people to actually come together. Now, granted, y'all gonna have two different roles to actually make that household run. So if I'm up here cooking and cleaning and taking care of the, living expenses or the upkeep of the home, but he's out there working financially, that's two different roles that's helping keep that house together. So as far as being head of the household, I think it comes on both ends to definitely have an understanding of whose role is what and being able to effectively manage your role. And if you don't, then that's when that other person, whoever's your partner, steps in and helps you. Because in a relationship, somebody's going to be the strong one at certain things and someone's going to be the weak one at certain things. So that's when you have to have that balance. So whenever I am weak at something, my partner is going to be strong at that, as well as vice versa.
All
I
right.
would agree with that. I mean, I don't feel that there's a right or a wrong answer. It's according to how your household is ran, how
Right.
the agreement that you and your partner has come to.
Right.
So there is no right or wrong answer. Like, hell no, you ain't right. No, I'm the head. No, there's no right or wrong answer in this one.
Yeah. And I agree with everybody, you know what I'm saying, and different levels. And Miss Cruiser is absolutely right. I do feel like it would be a different or could be a different person as far as making the decisions and within the relationship. You know what I mean? Because like Courtney said, the one person should be stronger in certain areas, but they're not going to be strong in all of it. You know what I mean? And I think that, and then it also does change when you have kids. You know what I'm saying? Now, that part I don't want to get into because I'm not a parent. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say, oh, well, the daddy or the mama, that's y'all business. They have kids, whatever. So for me, that, doesn't have kids, we don't have those decisions to make, then the rest of it is going to be kind of balanced. You know what I'm saying? This bill is due. Who's going to pay it? This room is dirty. Who's going to clean it? Meaning it depends on how your schedules are. It depends on what your strengths are. So, and preferences. Like, prime example, when V and I had an apartment together, he did the laundry. Even though he would, like, when he would come home, he would do all the laundry because I hated doing laundry. But conversely, when he needed new windshield wipers put on, I put the wipers on because that's what I'm mechanical like that, and he didn't have any problem whatsoever in doing the laundry. I hated the way he folded, so I folded, but he would at least wash and dry. And at that time, we didn't have an in-house washer and dryer, so he would, carry it to the laundromat and stuff. And generally, it would be at night. So he wanted to do it anyway because he didn't want me making that journey at night, But it didn't make him any less of a man or me any less of a woman for not doing it because that was our agreement or our arrangement. You know what I mean? Now, you have some people say what a woman is supposed to do and what a man is supposed to do. But I think it just depends on your type of relationship, everybody's roles and schedules, you know what I mean? So when it comes to head of household, though, I really would say I kind of like, outside of tax purposes, I don't really believe in it because it should be a joint effort.
It still exists. You don't have to believe it for it to exist. It still exists in a lot of homes.
Oh, and I'm not saying it's wrong. Yeah. I'm not saying, if you got a head of household, you're wrong for that. Like, no, it's whatever is relevant to your relationship, and V actually discovered this probably 3 months ago. We had that head of household conversation. And then once I broke it down to him, but throughout our relationship, I never made him feel like less than a man. He was always the man. He was a man when I met him. He's going to be a man while I'm with him. So because we had that balance where, we had, I guess I just didn't belittle his masculinity, I guess you want to call it. And we work. So that's for us. But that's not me saying that if you have somebody designated as head of household, you're wrong. If you allow your husband or your spouse, because we do have same-sex relationships as well, but your significant other to be the head of household, then you're wrong. I think it's relative to the relationship. I just think that when it comes to struggling to figure out head of household, that's when it's more of a power struggle versus a decision. Like, who's going to be the decision maker?
I get it. Totally get
Okay,
it.
I didn't. Well, thank you, Courtney. I didn't get to say thank you for you jumped off.
I'm about to slide off too. Thank you for letting me come on and say something.
Oh,
I
you.
reserve the right to come back if need be.
I'm gonna block you
And
to leave.
I reserve the right to come back.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, Miss Cruiser. Now, how do you know when you're ready to? I won't say how do you know. Let's just say, when are you ready to date?
I know for me, in my last relationship, we used to go out a lot. Like, we partook in a lot of activities and, we went out to eat. So for me, I miss the idea of having a partner in crime, somebody who you can roll out with, someone who you can just sit back and shoot the breeze with and just have those casual conversations or just have those uncomfortable conversations. And when I say uncomfortable, like why does a penis go to the left? Or, you know what I'm saying? I won't say, well, like crazy, I won't say crazy, but just those unique conversations. Aha, that's what we'll say. Unique conversation. But I miss that. I miss being a part of a unit. I miss being part of a team. So for me, I knew that I was ready to date when, I don't know, it just got, me being by myself. I've been by myself for so long. I didn't like being by myself.
Okay. So I guess because people are asking for clarification on my question. So let me try and clarify the question a little more. Because wanting companionship or wanting a boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, spouse, all of that is all well and good, but it doesn't mean that you're ready. So when I say, when are you ready to date? Shouldn't you have some certain ducks in a row before you venture? Hey, Goldie. Sorry. Dogs always distract me. But shouldn't you have some things lined up or I guess accomplished before you date?
When you say accomplished, what do you mean? Really?
Yeah, he's your baby. And you haven't been giving him any attention. So
he has been getting plenty of attention.
Okay. But no, so when you date, I guess maybe date is not the right word. Maybe it's too broad of a term. Okay, well, how do you know when you're ready for a relationship? There we go.
Okay, that's a better question. You want to answer that? Because I feel like I've answered my how I feel about it.
Yeah, but that was a feeling. You know what I'm saying? People, and I don't mean just you specifically, but I'm talking in general. When you are seeking companionship for long term, whatever you want to call it, dating, relationship, whatever, if you don't have a job, should you be dating? If you don't have a car, if your credit isn't right, if your heart isn't right, if you're not healed, if you still have baggage, you know what I mean?
Mm. Okay, I get that.
Because the human in us is going to seek companionship, just has that desire. That's just a natural part of it. It's highs and lows to it. It comes and it goes. But generally speaking, that's a natural course for humans, I guess. So that want is different from being ready.
Okay, so
Either.
So I was in a relationship from 17 to 40 with the same person. I have been by myself now for 7 years. Am I ready to start dating? Yes, because that gave me time because I was a teenager. Half of my life, I was with the same person. So this gives me the opportunity to get in connection with me. So now I am ready to start dating. I got back in, I fell back in love with me because I was in love with someone else and we broke up. Um, so now I've been able for these last 7, 8 years to fall back in love with myself, learn myself over again, and I was able to do that. So yes, now at this point in my life, I am ready to start dating and get acquainted with a man. So for me, you know, I fell back in love with Edwina. And that's the best thing that I've done because I didn't just break up with him, just jump to something else quickly. I didn't do that. I sat down and wrote out what I wanted and what I desired in my next king. And so I say to people, if you get lonely, just don't jump into something quickly. Figure out self. Fall back in love with self. Write down what you desire and what is beneficial for you in your next relationship. What you're not going to tolerate, what you're going to tolerate. Write those things down accordingly. And that's what I did. And went on a few dates, like I said last week, and it wasn't up to par for what I desired. I'm just because I'm ready to be in a relationship with somebody, I'm just not gonna take anything or anybody because this is what I want. So
Wait,
just,
put that back up. And I was thinking that, Miss Cruiser, because I think if you say, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna wait until this, and I'm gonna wait until I have that, you'll be waiting forever.
mm-hmm.
There's really, because technically we're not supposed to be going seeking love and relationships. It's supposed to find us. So when love does find you, then you just know. There's no denying it. There's nothing in this world that you can do to kind of turn that away. Hey, I'm here. Hello, I'm here. I'm not going nowhere.
Right.
But I totally agree with that. You'll never be prepared. It's just like having kids. Oh, well, we're waiting for a good time. There's never a good time. There's never the right time, shall I say, to, for a situation like that. So it is, and then there's no perfect person. There's just, you're perfect for each other. So, okay, so if I meet somebody who's 50 years old and he ain't got a car, we're going to have a conversation and find out what's going on, Where do you need to be? That's not a deal. I can't even bring myself to say it.
You were trying to be objective. You lying. It's a deal breaker. You was trying to know it was a deal breaker. But that's
okay, a job. Okay, you may be in between jobs. Okay, great. What's your passion? Let's figure out what your passion is. Maybe you're not meant to work for someone else. What we got to do? Maybe I could be that. I could be that encouragement that you need. Because sometimes that's all we really need. If we're lacking, if there's a lack, sometimes you need that other person there to kind of help you get motivated to where you need to be, to push you along.
And I see you. Give me a second. So before I lose this thought, to me, you are ready to date when you do find that self-love, because I think until you love yourself, it doesn't mean that you think you're perfect or that you got it all together, but you know who you are. You know what you bring to the table, and by loving yourself enough, or not just enough, but loving yourself and really knowing yourself, you will be less likely to deal with things that you shouldn't or that you don't deserve when you know you deserve better. As far as, there are a million scenarios where a person shouldn't be dating or may not be ready, but definitely when you know that, when you love yourself and you're okay with yourself by yourself, now you're ready to add that additional person. I think it becomes a problem when you're like, oh, I'm not going to get my life. I need somebody to complete me. No, you need somebody to complete your picture. Something like that, but not you. You need to, at bare minimum, get to a point to where you are whole and complete by yourself. And let me bring on Miss Cruiser, because I hope she's gonna say something nice. She might stir the pot, but come on, welcome back. Come on,
I ain't gonna do nothing wrong. So, I don't like typing, and I can't spell. So, first, the question was dating. And the reason why I had asked you that is because, of course, I enjoy dating. And dating don't always mean that you want something long term. It just means that you're dating, enjoying you're enjoying the company of in my case, I'm a female, is enjoying the company of the male. But and you're right in a sense. There was times when I was dating that I wasn't going towards any long-term relationship because I was raising my kids and there was no room for him in any of that. So sometimes it's that you need to get in touch with who you are and love yourself. I'm a Leo. I was born loving me, probably too much, but there's other circumstances. Like I said, when I was raising my kids, Aaron, no man wasn't allowed in my house. Period. Couldn't even know where I live. You couldn't know where I live. If we went out on a date, you had to meet me there because I didn't want you to know my address because I had kids in the house that I protected over dating. That was more important than that. Well, now the children is 26, 24, and 20, and mama want to remarry again. But in spite of saying that, don't be looking like that, Aaron.
Oh, that's a revelation. The Saturday sit down has gotten a revelation. So, side note, Miss Cruiser, we've been friends now 8 years? Because I want to say it was 2012. I want to say that, am I right?
Yes.
This is the first time I have ever heard her say, I want to remarry. But go ahead.
I know. But, I was married for, I've got married very young. I married him at 21, and by 24, I started having kids. And so, I want to live a little bit. When I was apart from him, I want to live a little bit. Boy, did I live. And so now I think that I'm ready, but in spite of that, I'm still doing what I do. And when it comes, it comes. When it catch me, it catch me. When the right one catch me, the right one catch me. But, and there's a lot of things that I looked for when I was 20, 21 that he had to be, that I'm 50 now, that he don't necessarily have to be. Now, this is why I came on. So Lovey said, I'll mess up a name. Did I say your name right? Because I would mess up a name, honey.
You did.
She said, if he don't have a car. Used to be a time when I would say, if he don't have a car, then no. If he don't have this, he don't have that, then no. Now, this is how I feel about it. Sometimes he don't have a car because he done jacked up his license. Sometimes he don't have a car because maybe he kind of messed up his credit a little bit, but he still make good money. Well, I got 2 cars. So he can go on and pay the Benzo bill, but drive the Nissan, to drive the older car, and I'm gonna drive that and he pay that bill. He ain't got to have a car as long as he can afford to pay a car note. Okay, he ain't got you live with your mama, but you can afford to pay for the townhouse. Come on, boo. You good.
I got to pause and I'm giving you just 2 seconds. Is this just for the show, Miss Cruiser?
No, I'm serious.
Really?
I'm serious. I know. I've grown. I've matured.
Let me find out. Okay, I'm done. Love it.
Oh yeah. If you are in our age bubble and we meet and you ain't got no car because your L's is jacked up, your credit is jacked up, but you got a good job, that means your priorities is all confuzzled. No, ma'am. No, sir.
Let me give you a story. This is a true story. I know a girl who met a guy in that situation some odd 10, 11, 13 years ago. He was in that situation. She was in a situation where she had 2 vehicles in her townhouse. And he was in a situation where he got into a bit of bad decisions. And so at the time he did not have a vehicle, but he had a job. Pretty good job. But he was rebuilding himself. And she started dating. She was actually dating his friend, and he slid on in there, and she started dating him instead. And it turned out to be a good situation. And this is why I've grown into this, because this person is close to me. I know this person dearly. And when she met him, she was driving a Ford, whatever the SUV is, it's a Ford. Now they have 3 Escalades, and they all based on them growing together after they got married and growing together. He made more money than her. So when he came into her situation, he started assuming he started taking on some of the bills so they could grow together. Now, like I said, there used to be a time when I would say, no way, Jose, you made bad decisions. We can't work together, whatever. But you just have to be wise enough to know who you're dealing with. Am I saying fix a man? No. Don't fix a man. Don't, no. But if he's out there working, let me say this, and then I'm a hush. Sometimes men don't know how to. They got the potential to do it. For example, my ex-husband and I, we're estranged. Just put it like that. He knows how to make good deals and good money and have business. He don't really know how to run it. I run it. So we're in good partnership together where he knows how to go out and get this, and he have visions, and I'm buy this house, I'm gonna go to Myrtle Beach, I'm buy that property, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But he doesn't know how to really do the back part of it, the business part of it. So that doesn't mean that he couldn't have those things. He just needed me to come in, what the Bible call it, the helpmate, to say, okay, I'm gonna run this so it can keep on going and be successful. And that happens sometimes. So you may have a man who got tickets or made bad decisions, or bought a car because it looked good and it was a sports car, and then and the sucker won't run right, and then you have 2 nice cars, but he got the money to pay one of them. Hey, what's wrong with him? At least you ain't got somebody coming in with a Benzo payment now. So with a BMW payment. You got these 2 cars and he got BMW payment. Now you got 3 cars and 2 car payments. He ain't got no cars, so now you got 2 cars. You can drive the better car and he can make the payment. I'm just saying.
I got you. We gonna have to talk offline. Like, I don't even understand. Like, this revelations. Like, it's 2020. That's all I can say. This is a 2020 effect. Y'all don't even know. When I tell you, old, new, like, whoo.
Wait now. I ain't still paying. Look, I ain't saying I'm gonna go gold digger, but I still ain't messing with no broke.
Okay.
I ain't saying any of that. I ain't taking care of nobody or any of that. Notice that I said that he can come in and he makes money and he can, take on what I already have. He's still financing it, but it's just that he doesn't have to be perfect. Things happen in life.
I got you. All right, now, Reverend Cruisin and got up here and had this sermon and had some church fingers up. Go ahead, ladies. Go ahead with y'all church fingers.
I actually agree with Miss Cruz. I know someone that was dating someone and he was a street cat. He was in the streets, did his thing in the town and everything. And didn't have his high school diploma. She assisted him getting his high school diploma, assisted him working on his credit. Now they own 3 houses. Now 2 beautiful boys, in college now. This was back in the 80s, like 88, 89 when they met. He was still wearing the Jerry curl. But he was a street cat. He didn't worry about his credit, and she uplifted him, and now they have 3 beautiful homes, 2 beautiful boys. Credit is good.
The streets.
Of course he left the street.
Okay. All right.
He left the street. Now he worked for the county.
Oh, okay.
At a hospital, doing very well. And even have their own little small real estate investment firm. But what I'm saying, and I agree with Miss Cruz, sometimes we gotta realize that I can't speak on the new generation, but I know our generation and generation under us, a lot of the young cats, they didn't really worry about credit. All they knew was the streets. So sometimes they get this powerful woman in their life to uplift them and take them from the things that they know. Because you got to remember, we got to break those generation curses. So it's okay if you meet someone and they're not all the way together. And if that man gives you that opportunity and he's willing to listen and you cannot uplift him, be that uplifting spirit. So I definitely agree with Mrs. Cruz. And now, like I said, now they be able to go on trips and credit is good, got his passport, she got him where he got that background expunged, when he was younger. Because us as young folks, especially in the 70s and the 80s, we used to do a lot of stuff. So we didn't have mama and papa telling us, do this, do that. We had our grandparents. So if your mother is hanging out on the street corner and your daddy over there doing something, they're not really teaching you that. We didn't really want to listen to none of that. I didn't learn about credit until my great grandmother started teaching me at 10. So when I got with my guy, I'm telling them this is what we need to do. Let's open up a joint account. Let me uplift you. I'm not trying to bring you down. I'm not like these other women. Let me uplift you. This is my background. So that's what this young person that I know, and they're happy. So it's okay if you uplift your potential mate, your significant other, or whatever. I agree with you, Ms. Cruz. Thumbs up.
Lovey, we're waiting for you because the face is high.
That's so sweet.
She about to ruin it. Come on.
Oh, it's so sweet. The little treasure stories.
Those testimonials.
They were, yes, that was so beautiful. However, we are pushing 50. The hell I look like mess. Listen.
This is in the 80s now.
We talking about
2020.
2020, 21, okay?
But like I said, you gotta remember.
Lovey got me hollering over here.
What
the hell I look like?
The brothers of today, not all of them, but some of them need that push.
Yes, and I agree. I said that we as women sometimes, like you said, Miss Cruz, it takes that woman to come in. And you think I didn't correct you on that? Say I'm doing good. I'm doing better.
Yeah, because I said Miss Cruz.
Yeah, because I'm the name police. So I get that it takes that one person to be that motivational force to get you off your duff to do what you need, to get things right. to make improvements where improvements need to be made. However, comma, I'm
Semicolon.
not going, I'm sorry, we can have conversation, but if I meet someone who is 50 plus and they have license issues, driver's license issues, why? Let's talk about that.
Okay, wait a minute. So I'm gonna talk about that. You gotta remember, we got some silly. I can't say what I really want to say.
Silly ass.
Okay, we got some silly ass young girls or baby mamas that are very, very evil. That are very evil and bitter. And what they do is they get this guy on child support and they mess up their life.
But why are you 50 plus still having babies though?
And out here, that's
No, I can't.
Well,
I'm not saying that's 50 right now, but you gotta realize that if it's a bitter woman out there, and this man is doing everything that he can. He's doing everything that he can, but you got some baby mamas that are bitter, that are evil, because that man don't want to be with them, and then they draw up a little story and mess up that man's life. Now he meets a woman, and she's saying, you know what, boo, let me upgrade you. Let me help you through whatever you're going through. Let's figure this out together. That's all that I'm saying. But if I'm wrong, y'all gonna take me. But all I'm saying is it's men out there right now that's going through that. I've seen it. And then they get their stuff together and they fix that court issue. I see your hand, sis. They fix that court issue, and then that woman try to help them get back on their right and narrow, because you got some evil women out here that's very deceitful and evil and unhappy with themselves, and then they drag the man through it. I know some guys that's going through that, and I done help a couple of my homies get on their feet, and they ain't trying to talk to me, but I say, this is what you need to do, bro. And then I help them through it. They go to court, they get their license back, and they get on the street straight and narrow. And then that girl be like, you know what, thank you, Edwina, because I really didn't know what to do.
50.
Okay.
All right.
I get that, but now when it comes to a man losing his license behind child support, if he pays, they don't take his license. Now, I'm not an advocate for or against child support. This is not going to be a child support conversation, excuse me. I mean,
I know.
But what I'm saying is, just like she know that's an option, he know that's an option. You know what I mean?
I get that. But I'm not saying 50, 60, and is that right? No, it's not. You should be on your game. But we do got men that's paying child support, and then the bitter woman goes back to court, say, well, he's not doing this.
So why would I want to get involved in that? Now you bringing me into the fold. Then I gotta have that on my head.
You're not getting nothing taken out of you.
Yeah, but
why not know the brother?
But still, that
I wouldn't want to deal with a situation like that. I wouldn't deal. However, I will say this: I do have a friend, and Aaron know this guy, Tiger. His daughter was living with him, and she had him up on child support. And she went and told the judge that the child had lived there. And she and what the judge did was pull the child in and say, "Hey, where you live?" He said, "I've been living with my daddy for 2 years now." Boom. She went to court. So it does happen. Now, would I date him? Absolutely not, because he chose her. He put himself in that situation. He had to somewhat see that you going into a bad situation. I love you, bro, but I ain't gonna date you. Right. In a situation like that, I probably wouldn't date him, but there are situations like that. But I was talking more. I was talking more of terms of. Let me give it another example. My little sister just got married recently. She married a guy who owns. He owns a repair shop, a body and repair. This guy sometimes lived in his repair shop or lived in apartments that weren't nice. But he had money. He owns a whole company. And The reason why he did is he said, I didn't have a lady. I wasn't engaged. I wasn't married to nobody. I really, now he lives he drives a nice car. She drives a nice car. They live in a nice house. They just had a baby and they're in their 40s. My sister's 43. And they and all of that. But he said before he didn't, hey, I'm a man. I ain't interested in none of those things. So it wasn't that he couldn't have a car. He had all the cars. He drove one of the car at the body shop that, or whatever, it wasn't that he couldn't have a house, but he was like, look, why do I need a house for? But when he married her, now that they're in a nice house, she got he got a Tesla, now they got a little baby now, so that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, building somebody from the ground up. I'm talking about somebody who's already doing well, but just don't have a desire to, sometimes men, they don't think like women. I want this, that, and the other, until they get a woman who they want to provide those things for.
Can uplift them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. That story was beautiful too.
I love it.
Beautiful. God is gonna bless you tomorrow morning. Yes, he is on Sunday. But I'm sorry, I'm not about to. I don't live a drama-filled life, and I have never lived a drama-filled life. So for someone to come along with said added pressures of the child support, and you got. Because I know somebody. I was messing with somebody who was dang near 50 and they have a 4-year-old. I'm just not, I'm sorry. I'm just not, I'm sorry. I'm going to look at you and ask. Well, I'm not going to judge off the top. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to uncover some stuff. Okay. What was going on 4 years ago for you to feel that you wanted to have another baby? And what happened with because here's my lines of questioning, okay? How many kids do you have? Okay, I have 6. Okay, you 50 plus. Okay, great. You had your fun, whipping it out everywhere. I get it. It happened. Okay, great. Then, do you have a job? How long you been on the job? Okay, if you say I've been on the job for about 4 or 5 years, okay. In today's standard, there really isn't job security. So I guess, that things happen. You move from one job to the other, but you're gainfully employed. Get it. Are you renting or are you a homeowner? I'm renting. Okay, well, why you rent? You ever thought about owning? Yeah, but hey, man, I wanna own a house with my wife. Okay, great. Do you have a car? I do have a car. However, my license is suspended.
You do know you can get suspended license for parking tickets.
Yes, I get that. But how many parking tickets do you have to where you can't get your L's back? Okay, it's all circumstantial. Like
That's an easy fix. It's an easy fix. Lovey, you giving up the good thing. That's an easy fix. He gonna go pay them parking tickets, go stand before the judge. Look, I got a woman now. I love her.
What did it take for me to come along to get you to go pay those parking tickets?
She was really messing with a scrub and she didn't have nothing really going on with herself.
Again, I'm gonna look at your judgment.
He probably meet you and be like, you know what? He can probably give me some good advice or help me through it.
Well, of course, if they come across me, yes, I'm going to give them some sound advice. Okay?
I'm just saying.
From the friend zone.
I mean, and you never know what a friend zone to turn into. It could become something marvelous. It could be. It may not turn out terrible.
And this don't always have to be men. There are, it can be vice versa. A man could meet a woman. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all, I got me a little ticket and the pandemic happened and I just wasn't going to court. I finally called the people. I said, hey, y'all look for me because I ain't go to court. I could have had my license taken.
And she could have had a bid warrant.
And they were like, we were throwing stuff out, and yours was one of the ones that got thrown out because the pandemic and all of that. But other than that, I wasn't showing up, so it could have been me. But Jesus dropped the charges. Hallelujah.
I I mean, for me, I'm gonna just say this. For me, I got hit in 2009. I was in a wheelchair, a walker. My leg was up. I couldn't do anything. My daughter's father took over. My license got suspended because I couldn't go. I couldn't get up. I
Different.
couldn't get up and go to court. But I had some. And at this time, me and him wasn't even together. Or he was like, you know what? I'm gonna give you 1 year. He gave me an altar. I'm gonna give you 1 year, and I'm gonna help you with everything. He started, he had to take me to certain places, take me to court. The judge see me in the wheelchair. He was like, all right, we're gonna put you on the payment plan because we was gonna put a bench warrant out because I was supposed to go to court and I couldn't. I didn't have anybody to go in there and talk on my behalf. He could have gave me a warrant. So when he seen me in the condition that I was, he dropped everything and put me on the payment plan. All I'm saying is I did have somebody to uplift me and say, you know what, I'm gonna help you through this. Some people don't have that. You probably meet somebody and you let them know your circumstances, and that significant person can be like, you know what, these are the things that you need to do. I'm not saying that
I'm in a wheelchair and I have my license. I'm anybody's able-bodied men.
but it ain't always the man.
Well,
though.
no, it's not. It's okay. The able-bodied person. Yeah, but no.
But what if I didn't have that person to help me through? I wouldn't have. My mail was going somewhere else. It could be all type of stuff. Everybody.
Oh, you sure do got a lot of excuses.
I would help the young brother. Me.
I would talk to him. I would uncover the issues. Okay. I wouldn't cut him off just automatically, but in my experience,
okay,
the ones, yes, and it is usually with dealing with baby mama drama, and I ain't paid my child support,
and that's why my license is the same.
Yes, no problem.
Before I go down here and pick this out content in the audience, let me say I don't do baby mamas. If he have children, I think that he need to go and raise them. I still feel the same about that. If your children ain't grown, I still ain't nothing changed about that, Aaron. I still don't date men with little kids with children. You still raising your kids. You need to concentrate on that. That need to be your first priority. And I like to be first priority, but if you got little kids, that needs to be your first priority. So I can't be first priority. So you're not my choice. So so I wouldn't run into that child support. So I'm gonna go sit down here beside Ian.
But wait.
Thank you, Miss Cruz. She in the content. I mean, she in the comments.
Right, but I'm saying, but at our age, would you be willing to date someone, or would you even entertain someone who came to you and said, hey, I have a 4-year-old?
Nah.
I mean, I would. I love children. I'm not with, but I will ask, what's your relationship with your kids' mother?
Yeah.
I would ask those questions. Mm-hmm. So if the breezy is on some other type of flow, I wouldn't even entertain that. But if they have an equal communication and she knows she over here and that he's over there and he does have somebody, I will flow with that. But if the breezy is on some other type of stuff,
and see that right there, that's gonna make me look at you. I mean, look at you like, oh, so these are kind of decisions that you making. Oh, no, I'm good.
So I would definitely ask
because you're not ready for a woman like me.
Yeah, I would definitely ask those specific questions. And if you are answering my questions and it's on an intelligent level, then I would give that man a try with the 4-year-old. But if the baby mama is on some other hype, I wouldn't even be able to fade that. That's just me. But I have specific questions when I do go out on a date now. I have 10 questions that I specifically ask. Because I'm a life coach and a self-love coach, I have 10 specific questions that I ask men when I I'm on a date. I'm gonna ask you these 10 questions, and if you can't answer those 10 questions specifically like you should, you're not gonna hear from me.
And especially if you coming back bashing your baby mama.
Oh yeah,
Oh no,
yeah,
that's a
if you
dead
come
ass
back
giveaway.
and you
I'm not
disrespectful,
doing
then
that.
I'm not
No.
even finna say it to my kid. I'm not.
I mean, we can have again. We can have conversations. So why do you feel as though she's a beast? Why do you gotta? Why do you? Why? What led you down this road to where you're now having to resort to calling this woman out of her name?
Because
What
you
happened?
picked her to have
Right.
a baby by.
Right.
You did that. You
Right.
did that.
Because Mrs. Baby, no, she was the wife. She was the ex-wife. And all of her antics, I couldn't be like, "Oh, you chose her." I'd just be like, "You picked a good one." He couldn't stand it when I was saying, but I was like, "Ooh, you picked a good one."
Because you have some immature women along with me, and so I understand, certain things that you guys were speaking about, but I would give the person a chance, even if they had a 4-year-old. But like I said, I have to ask these questions. If you come back with some BS, I'm not fading you, my homie.
He ain't ready for a woman like me. Anywho.
Yes.
I was in the dating world and he said, "Hey, I have a 4-year-old," I wouldn't automatically cut him off. It would have to, like, after maybe a week or two, and I'm, oh, that's my baby mama, or I got to go do this for my kid, I got to go do that. I don't want to stop your flow from being a good father. Be that. But if you, yeah, I don't know. That's tough.
But see, I think it's a little for you because you're 30, what? 38. 38, even if you met someone who was like 40, 41, that's not so bad. Having a 4-year-old, a younger one, a little one. But 50?
Well, I mean, and I guess to me, age doesn't matter. Like, the age of the man doesn't matter as much as the age of the child, because the younger the child, the more involved you have to be with the mother to take care of the child.
Yes, absolutely. But if you have adult children and now you have a 20-year difference between the oldest to the youngest, I take issue with that. And especially if it's somebody, the last one, if this was just a jump off or somebody who you was just kicking it with and you weren't pursuing them as far as being in a committed relationship with them, I take issue with that. I'm looking at your priorities different.
Well, you're getting older, you still make kids. That means your equipment still works. So check. Good to know. I'm sorry.
I mean that's a great point. Absolutely. But you just out here.
The Johnson got blood in it.
Yeah, and it also got juice in it.
It's still pumping.
And you still pumping out juice. I don't know. So you
elaborate on your issue with it then. Like, so the issue is not the 4-year-old child. The issue is the 50 or more old man with a 4-year-old.
Not old man. It's not old, but it's just like
a 50-year-old man. 50.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm saying it's just like now at this stage of the game, I'm ready to travel. I'm ready to, live life, and especially, you can attest to this. Your daughter is grown.
Mm-hmm.
She living her life. You ready to get out there because it's, everything was for her with bringing her up. And then when you get to a point, which I'm sure all parents get, okay, I'm about to live, but it's time for mama to live. It's time for daddy to kick it.
Well, for me, I'm actually looking into adoption. And I'm 47. And the only
alone?
Only reason why I'm doing that because I was a child in foster care. And there's so many children out there that needs a loving home. So if I meet somebody and you cannot accept me, I want a baby. If I had to get a toddler or an older kid, I would. but I'm actually looking into adopting a newborn boy because I don't have no son. So that's what I'm doing. Now, if a man tell me, well, I can't fade you, you got this. Well, kick rocks with open toe shoes on, like Brandy said. So if you cannot accept me for me, you can kick rocks. That's just me. That's what I'm looking into.
But in that case, there would be no baby daddy to deal with. You know what I mean? Because sometimes for the man, it's the same issue as it is for the woman. It's not the actual child that's an issue. It's that there's a whole nother adult that with the child.
It's a scenario. So what if that man is 50? What if his wife passed away and he got this baby?
That's different.
So would somebody judge this man because he got a newborn baby or a 4-year-old and a little, you know, the mama went on the court?
No, that's different because again, just as she said, there is no attachment with that other person.
Well, what I'm saying is some women psychologically would say, damn, you got it may not even have to deal with a woman. Some women don't want to date a man that has a 4-year-old or a baby, regardless if the mother is not there or not. It's just some women don't want to deal with a man that just had a baby and the baby is 4 years old. So it's men and women out there that go through that. You know, that's all that I'm saying. Because you're saying you like, oh, I don't want to deal, you know, because you're 50 and your soldiers are still marching.
But to Miss Cruz's point, because she said, why is he still having unprotected sex? So that would that is risky. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that you haven't.
You know what? I didn't think about that.
It's that you know,
the baby go get here without
no, she just made a point. I'm just saying, my mind is like, okay, little soldiers is still, you know, they still pumping. You know, you could have had on the condom, you could still get pregnant.
Okay, but I need that to be the explanation. I need to know that you're not out here.
Sit down and talk. That's what you're saying.
We can sit down and talk, but in my mind, I'm just gonna be like you. You 50 plus, and you got a 4-year-old, and your oldest is like 29.
I don't know. I'm not feeling the age of the man compared to the age of the child. It's either you have an issue with a man that has kids or you don't. I don't think that his age matters. And I guess we could just agree to disagree in this case. But just help me to understand, I guess, okay, because it would kind of hinder you from that 50 plus life that you're looking for as far as traveling and doing those kinds of things.
Okay, so, case in point. Neighbor around the corner, me. 49. You know the situation. He has a 4-year-old. What part of that is right? I wait.
What part of that is wrong? Like I'm not. Okay, that's your choice.
And you discovered the 4-year-old at the same time that I did.
Well, I mean, so I have an issue with men that hide children.
Okay.
I have an issue with men that hide children. If you hide children, deny children, you don't take care of your children, that means you don't even have loyalty or respect for your DNA. You're not going to have respect. You're not going to have respect for me, who is a choice. You know what I'm saying?
So in those situations, I would definitely agree. If a man is hiding or not being upfront, then of course I wouldn't deal with him. But see, I don't lie. Give me the option if I want to be there. If I don't want to be there, give me that option. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be a real lame to deny or not let a woman know off top you got children. And if you do that, then you already a J-Cat to me. If you can't keep it a thou wow to say that you have children. I wouldn't be able to fake that. So of course I wouldn't be able to fake that if you lying about your children, or anything of that nature. But if you up front, you giving me an option to see if I want to stay or go. If I want to be able to tolerate you or get to know you in that fashion. That's just me. Keep it, and I always say, keep it 100. Just keep it.
Let me give it an insert pop. I can't do it.
They're gonna do with that pop.
Okay. But nevertheless, all right. Well, y'all, it's been an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh wow.
It doesn't
I'm out of drink.
that's how you know it's time for the end of the show when your cup get empty.
Right.
Girl.
Well, as always, ladies, thank you so much for this conversation. I think we got some good content here, some good information. I hope that those of you watching on replay, please be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Sorry, I hate when my phone vibrates on the table, but leave your comments now or when you're watching it on replay. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, things you want to talk about as far as love and relationships, we will be doing our last episode of the series next week. Red cup.
Yes, honey. They good red cups too, and they're not even so low. These Costco.
Okay, let's see. How many times have I said we're getting out of here? So I'm on time number 2.
Two.
Okay. All right. So
Two.
we got a few more conversations before I go because I have to say
Right.
it more times.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I enjoyed that episode. I enjoyed it. Obviously, because we ran over. Because I normally like, oh, it's an hour, we out. Like, no, wait. Proceed. How? Okay. All right. Empower. All right. Thank you to Courtney Jones and Miss Cruiser for coming on. I Am Content. Thank you for jumping in the comments. You could have came on here, girl, and gave us your perspective. I know it's a little different, but it's welcome.
We need to talk about horror stories.
Okay, all right. Well, horror stories coming up next episode. All right, that's 3, that's 4. All right, y'all, we out of here for real. Y'all have a safe week. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Please be sure to donate to the campaigns going here in Georgia for the runoff for John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. Don't worry about who they're running against. You don't need to support them. All right, and shout out to Georgia for turning blue. We didn't even mention that, but shout out to Georgia. You did your thing one time because I talked all that trash like Georgia will let you down and y'all came on through. Need you to do it one more time. One more time. Speaking of which, I need to see. Oh, no. The Dogs is playing right now. It's 24-24. Georgia's 4-2. Mississippi State is 2-4. Nevertheless, let's get out of here. Y'all have a great week, great weekend. Stay safe. Wear your mask. See y'all next week. It's the Saturday Sit Down every Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night, ladies.
Bye.